Hey everybody, it's Russ Ruffino with Clients on Demand, and today we're going to be talking about how to sell expensive, high-ticket offers to rich people. So how do you do that? If you're a coach, expert, author, speaker, consultant, therapist, and you've ever wondered how people sell their offers, their workshops, their seminars, their mentoring for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, even like up to $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, we are going to talk about exactly how to do that on today's video. So who the hell am I and why should you listen to me? My name is Russ Ruffino. I am the founder of a company called Clients on Demand. We are the original pioneers in the high ticket space. So high ticket is all we do. High ticket is all we teach. And over the last 10 or so years, we've worked with over 6,000 coaches, experts, authors, speakers, and help them craft their own offers and coaching programs that they sell for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more. So if you've ever wanted to command those kinds of premium prices, today I'm going to walk you through exactly how that's done and how to target the wealthy people who can actually afford those offers. So let's go ahead and dive in. Oh, hold up there. Nothing that I say on this channel should ever be taken as a claim about what you can do or what you can earn. According to the US Department of Labor statistics, you have less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of building an 8-figure business. All business entails risk. Most businesses fail. All I can do on this channel is share with you what's worked for me and what's worked for my clients. What you do with that information is up to you. All right, back to the video. So the number one rule of selling high ticket is that you must deliver the value. And I want to be really clear on that right out of the gate. I'm not telling you to just take some ebook or something that you're selling right now for $27 and just slap 3 extra zeros on it. So, hey, I got this ebook I'm selling for 27 bucks. Now I'm going to sell it for 27,000 bucks and we're good and we're off to the races. There's a huge difference between selling information and selling transformation. So information tends to have a price cap on it. You can sell your ebooks for $27. You can sell your video courses for $97 up to about $2,000, let's say. But once you're talking about commanding those price points that are $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more, you really need to be providing transformational value. That is the most important thing. Understand this. People are not paying you for your time. They're not paying you for your expertise. What they're paying you for is the value of the outcome that you deliver. That is the most important thing to understand. So the rule is high stakes equals high ticket. The more high stakes a problem is, the more valuable an outcome is, the more you can charge for helping people solve that problem or hit that outcome. Does that make sense? So if someone's marriage is falling apart, that's a high stakes problem. If someone's business is failing, that's a high stakes problem. If someone's health is in serious decline and you're going to help them turn it around, that is a high stakes problem. So these are not nice to have solutions. These are must have solutions. If my marriage is falling apart, if I'm on the verge of divorce, I gotta do something about it. And if you're a marriage and family therapist or a marriage coach, like a lot of our clients are, and you can come in and you can turn that whole situation around for me, so now I don't have to get divorced and I don't have to go through all that blood, sweat, and tears and heartache, that is absolutely worth a premium price. Does that make sense? One other myth that I want to clear up that comes up all the time with our clients is that they come to work with us and they think that if they want to sell something for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more, that they must target rich people. Now, guys, I can tell you from a long experience that that is just not true. You don't need to target rich people if your offer is a must-have. So again, going back to that outcome, what is that outcome that you provide for your clients and how valuable and important is it for them to actually have that outcome and achieve that outcome? And if it is super important, like saving a marriage, like saving your business, like getting your health fixed, like finding the love of your life, like a parenting offer, like my client Jamie has, she works with at-risk girls who are going in the wrong direction and helps them get their lives back on track. If it solves a major problem in life, or in business, then normal people will dig deep and they'll step up and they'll invest in that solution. So don't think for a second that if you're going to sell a program for $5,000 or $10,000 that you need to be targeting only millionaires. That's just not true. Regular people, moms and dads, regular Americans, regular British people, regular Canadians will invest in your premium priced offers if they solve a major life or business challenge and if they are positioned correctly. Make sense? The first step to selling your high ticket offers is to get crystal clear on the outcome. So if you don't have a high ticket offer yet, you can check out this training on my channel where I will walk you through the process of actually creating your first high ticket offer. But I'm going to assume now that you've already got something like this going, and let's dig into what that looks like, right? So the first step to selling high ticket offers is to get crystal clear on the outcome that you are delivering. Now, what you're looking for is what we call a SAMO, S-A-M-O, a specific, amazing, measurable outcome. Specific, amazing, measurable outcome. So when someone works with you, how is their life going to look different? If they work with you for 60 days, like how is their life going to look different on day 60 than it does on day 1? What is that measurable change that you're going to create in their life? The more specifically you can describe that, the better. So for example, if you help people save their marriage, then say that. Don't say I'm a marriage and family therapist or I'm a marriage counselor. Say I help people save their marriage. If you help people build an incredible business, if you help gym owners scale their company, don't say, oh yeah, I work with business owners and I'm a business coach. That's lame. Say I work with gym owners to build 7 and 8 figure gyms, or however you want to frame it. The more specific you can make that outcome, the more powerful it's going to be and the more people are going to want it. Specific equals sexy. What you want to stay away from are platitudes. Platitudes are things that anybody could say. So any coaching program anywhere on the face of the earth can say, I help people achieve their goals. Okay. Any branding expert anywhere on the earth says, I help people express their brand in a more powerful way. Like those things are platitudes. What we want is something specific. If you're a web designer, you should say things like, I help your website generate 20% more leads. I help your website create 25% more revenue in 60 days. Does that make sense? The more specific and measurable you can make that outcome, the more powerful it's going to be and the more people will be willing to pay for it. Your audience needs to know beyond a shadow of a doubt what they are going to achieve when they work with you. So most of the time when we see people who are experiencing a lot of sales resistance, no one's booking sales calls with you, or if they book a sales call with you, they're browsing around and they're not really buying anything, they're curious, they're not committed, and no one's investing with you, 9 times out of 10, this is the reason. What you are going to do for them is vague. They don't know what it is. They don't know what the outcome is. And so therefore, they don't know what it's worth to really work with you. Now, once you've identified that outcome and gotten crystal clear about what that is, step 2 is to get crystal clear on who is your target audience. Who is this audience that needs your help the most? So here's the truth. Not everybody is your ideal client. If you try to sell to everyone, you're going to end up selling to no one. So there's 3 questions that I use. Once I know what my outcome is, there's 3 questions that I use to identify who the very best audience is. Question number 1, who needs this outcome the most? So of everybody that you could possibly be working with, who needs this outcome more than anyone else? Question number 2, who has the resources to pay for it? Now, like I said before, don't make assumptions about this because normal people who are not rich will happily dig deep and shell out the funds to work with you if you're clear about that outcome. And then number 3, who stands to gain the most from solving this problem? So for example, let's say that you're a business coach and you help fitness professionals attract more clients. Who are you better off working with? Are you better off working with a personal trainer who's charging like $100 an hour? Or are you better off working with a gym owner and helping that gym owner attract more clients? Well, let's see. Who stands more to gain from that outcome. The personal trainer might make a little bit more money, but if you could take someone's gym from having 100 members to having 500 members, they're going to make a hell of a lot more money. Now, the other thing too is that the gym owner is more likely to be able to afford you because they've already invested in a space. They've already invested in equipment. You know, they're a gym, so they have recurring revenue coming in. Does that make sense? The outcome you provide, and it's the same outcome, is going to be worth way more to the gym owner than it might be to the personal trainer. Got it? High ticket success comes down to choosing that right audience. Who are the people who need your help the most? Who are the people who stand the most to gain? If you are, again, a marriage and family therapist or a marriage counselor or whatever, who stands the most to gain? A couple that's 19 years old and they got married right out of high school and they've only been married 6 months and it's not working out? Or people that have been married for 20 years and they have 5 kids and they've got $500,000 that's at stake in this divorce, right? Now, either of those groups could hire you, but the person that's got a lot more to lose is going to be much easier to sell and much easier to enroll at a high price. Got it? How do we identify the ideal high ticket clients? I like to use 4 filters when I do this. Number 1, do they have a bleeding neck problem? So in other words, do they have an urgent and painful problem? What's something that they're struggling with right now that they need you to solve? Now, the reason this is so powerful is that when someone has a bleeding neck problem, you don't really have to try that hard to sell them. So imagine a situation where there's someone, who's been in some accident or something like that, and you're pulling up in your ambulance and you're trying to help them and you're trying to get them to go with you. It's the wrong way to do it would be to say, oh, hey, I've got this amazing ambulance. It's got beautiful Corinthian leather. It's upholstered. It's got wonderful atmosphere. It's gonna be a nice, smooth ride. I'm a great driver. When someone has a bleeding neck, it's like, dude, you're hurt. Do you want to go to the hospital? Yeah, great. Let's go. So they practically sell themselves once you shine a light on what that problem is. Does that make sense? Now, the other thing is that they need to have the funds to pay for your solution. That's the second filter. So that doesn't mean that they need to be rich, but it means that they need to have some kind of access to capital, some kind of access to credit. We've had clients in the past who've come to us and they wanted to do an offer for college freshmen, let's say. Well, college freshmen don't really have a lot of disposable income. So in that case, your target audience is not the kid, the freshman. Your target audience is their parents and getting their parents to invest in whatever that offer is. Why? Because the parents have the funds and the kid doesn't, all right? Now, you should also be targeting a market, if you can, that is growing, or at least a market that's not shrinking. All right. So you want to take a look at this market. If it's an industry that's dying, if it's an industry where every day there's fewer and fewer people in it, that's not fertile ground for having a high ticket offer. You want to look at where the markets are growing, where the industries are growing, and where your target audience is getting bigger and not smaller. At the very least, it might not be getting bigger, but it better not be shrinking. All right. And then finally, you want to target audience that's at least 100,000 people. So if you have an offer where you're targeting the CEOs of Fortune 400 companies, that's a very tricky offer to market because there's only 400 of them. So when you're creating your target audience, you want to make sure that there's at least 100,000 people in that audience. All right, so now you know your target outcome. Now you know your target audience. Where do we go? How do we begin to reach these people? How should you begin to market yourself to bring those people in to your high ticket offers? And again, if you don't have a high ticket offer yet, check out this video. I'll walk you through the process of creating your first one. All right, now how do we market this? Here's the truth. When it comes to selling high ticket offers, authority is everything. What we're hearing from coaches and experts in 2025 is that people are far less trusting. People are far more skeptical. They're far more cynical. It's much harder to get people to reach into their pocket and actually enroll in something. Why? Because they've just sort of kind of heard it all before. And I think we're in this weird climate of skepticism especially here in America anyway. There's just a lot going on. A lot of people don't trust the media. People don't trust politicians. They don't trust TV. It's like nobody really knows who to trust anymore. And in fact, I like to say that we are going through a trust recession. Even if the economy is doing pretty good, it's like nobody seems to trust anybody anymore. And what that means is that we got to cut through and get people to trust us and believe in us and believe in our solutions as quickly as we possibly can. Does that make sense? So everything in high ticket, at least in 2025 in our current climate, is about how quickly and efficiently you can establish your authority. Now, there's a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. And unfortunately, just about everyone tries to do this the wrong way. So what do people do? Well, people think, well, hey, I need more authority. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to college and I'm going to get an advanced degree. I literally was talking to somebody the other day that was their plan. Hey, Russ, no one's investing in my coaching program. And I think the reason is that I only have a master's degree and I don't have a PhD. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get my PhD and then people will trust me. And I was like, no. You're going to go back to school. You're going to be $250,000 in debt. You're going to spend the next, few years or whatever getting your PhD, and you're hoping you're going to spend all that money and time, and you're going to come out, you're going to cross your fingers, and you're going to hope that because you have those letters after your name, now people are going to trust you? No. So people try to get degrees. People try to get certifications, right? Coaches like to do this. They like to collect a bunch of certifications. People try to go out there and collect a bunch of case studies and testimonials because they think that will make people trust them. The problem with all of this is that those are external credibility indicators, right? And they might mean something to your target audience. On the other hand, your target audience might not care at all. So let's say, for example, that you've got a degree from Harvard. Well, people might say, well, he's got a degree from Harvard. He must know what he's talking about. But a lot of people won't. So what do we need to do here? What we need to do here is we need to see, is there a way for us to get people to say, you know what? You're the guy. I trust you. I believe you have the solution to this problem. Is there a way that we can do that? And how can we do that without having to put together a bunch of testimonials and case studies, without having to get a bunch of certifications, without having to get a bunch of advanced degrees? Well, as it turns out, there is. We have discovered at Clients on Demand the fastest way to create real trust and real authority with your target audience. And you don't need to have all these certifications and stuff. You don't need 1 million followers on social media. We've actually figured out how you can do this with one 20-minute presentation. We call this an authority video, and I'm going to show you what this looks like and how powerful it is. So your authority is all about this. When you can describe your audience's problem better than they can, they automatically assume that you know the answer. Let me say that again. When you can describe your audience's problem better than they can, they automatically assume that you know the answer. And right there, if you truly appreciate and understand that, is the master key to creating instant authority and credibility with your audience. The more clearly you can describe the problem that they're experiencing it, how they're experiencing it every day, the other things they've done to try to fix it, and show them a better way, the more efficiently you can do that, the more powerful all of your communication is going to be. So the mistake that most coaches and experts make is they spend a lot of time just talking about themselves. Here's where I went to school. Here's where I got certified. Here's my incredible solution, etc., etc. The truth is your audience doesn't really care about you at all. They only care about how you can help them win. And so the way that you establish that authority and connection is to vividly describe their day-to-day experience of the problem. So in order to do that, we use copy like this. Let's say, again, it's a marriage offer. Do you wake up 12 inches away from the love of your life, but you feel like there's a huge gap between you and that gap is just getting bigger and bigger every single day? Do you walk by your wife's phone and you feel tempted to reach out and grab it and go through her text messages? But if you did, you're terrified of what you might find out. Do you see what I mean? How that kind of language and that kind of copy has real immediacy to it. Someone that is in that situation is going to go, oh my God, yeah, I did that this morning. So what you want is you want to describe what your audience is sort of thinking and feeling that they really wouldn't want anyone else to know. When you do that, that's how you create that instant authority in their mind. If you can get that reaction of like, oh my God, I did that today, or oh my God, that's exactly what I've been thinking, or oh my God, that's exactly what I've been feeling, then your audience concludes on their own that you are this incredible authority. And it doesn't come from the logical part of their brain where they're going, well, he's got a diploma and he's got a degree and he's got 5 case studies, so he must know what he's talking about. No. It comes from that immediate intuitive part of their brain where instantly they go, oh my God, this guy gets me. Oh my God, this guy understands exactly what I'm going through. And you can communicate this in the space of like 1 20-minute presentation. And again, we call that an authority video. So the structure of it looks something like this. You start out by describing your audience's problem better than they can, their day-to-day experience of the problem. Then you reframe that problem as just being a symptom of a bigger problem that they're not even thinking about. Then you can go and talk about the other things they've done to fix this. Maybe you've tried this, maybe you've tried this, maybe you've tried this, and here's why that doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because it doesn't solve the real problem. Then you introduce your solution as the way to solve that real problem once and for all. And then once you've done that properly, all you need to do is invite them to talk to you about enrolling into your high ticket offer. So you can do all of this in the space of about 20 minutes. And when you do this right, it simplifies all of your marketing, right? Now, you might be sitting there going, Russ, dude, I'm buried. I don't know. Should I do a launch? Should I do a challenge? Should I do a low ticket offer? Should I do a high ticket offer? Should I, go out there and try to create a membership site? Should I be on Twitter? Should I be on Instagram? What do I do? How do I get people to actually say, yes, I want to work with you? Well, once you have this kind of authority video, it becomes very, very simple. The only thing you need to do is get as many eyeballs on that video as possible. So you reach out to your target audience, you post where they're going to see it, you advertise where they're going to see it, and you drive all those eyeballs into that authority video that establishes you as the number one person that they need to work with because they're going to feel like you understand them better than anyone else. So this authority video strategy is the backbone of everything that we've done at Clients on Demand. We've done $100 million with this strategy. Our clients have probably done, I would estimate, close to like $1 billion using this strategy. Now, I don't have the exact number, but that's a pretty solid guess. So this thing works, and it works in just about any niche or any market you could possibly imagine, from marriage coaching to parenting coaching to dating coaching. We had a guy do this in handstand coaching where he had like a $7,000 handstand program. So whatever your offer is, whatever your market is, you can use this strategy to establish your authority in the space of 20 minutes. You don't need to have a podcast. You don't need to try to collect 1 million followers on Instagram. You don't need to try to become some sort of like mini celebrity. You can have everything that you need with just one short presentation. Does that make sense? So when you build all of your communication around the problem your audience has, why that problem is so terrible, what they've tried to do to fix it, why that hasn't worked, and then you show them what to do instead, now you can establish your credibility and authority much, much faster and more efficiently than you ever thought possible. And I know this is true, guys, because again, we've worked with 6,000 coaches and experts over the years, and we've helped them massively scale their businesses. Now, I couldn't do that if I could only work with people who had a PhD. I couldn't do that if I could only work with people who had 50, 100 case studies. I couldn't do that if I could only work with people who had millions of followers on Instagram. Does that make sense? So the fact that we've gotten such crazy results for such a big group of people who didn't have any of those things proves that you really don't need any of those things to be successful, to sell your high ticket offers to your dream clients. And if you really take that in for a minute, that should be such a huge relief. Because it means that you don't need to be posting on Instagram all day. You don't need to be making TikToks all day. You don't need to be making reels all day. You don't need to be, grinding out all this content. You don't need to say, well, I better have a New York Times bestseller or nobody's ever going to work with me. That is the worst and the slowest way to create your authority. When you do your messaging the way that I'm sharing with you here in this video, you can create all the credibility and authority that you want faster than you ever thought possible. Now, the last thing I want to say is that once you've got this kind of messaging, everything else becomes simple and scalable. The more complicated your marketing is, the more things that can go wrong. So all you need to do is whatever organic stuff you're doing, send them to your authority video. Whatever paid stuff you're doing, send them to your authority video and give them a chance to talk to you. And here's the difference, guys. You might be saying, well, Russ, I've tried running traffic into like a video sales letter or something and then getting people on the phone, or I've tried driving traffic to my website and then getting people on the phone, and none of those people signed up. I get it. But most people are doing this wrong. They're talking about themselves. They're talking about all the wrong things. If you can just do what I'm telling you here in this video, what you're going to find is that when you do speak to people from your authority video, they're already going to be convinced that you are the guy or the gal that they need to work with. So definitely implement this strategy, swipe this idea, stop talking about yourself, stop talking about where you got certified, stop talking about how great you are, and start vividly describing your client's problems as clearly as you possibly can. Here's the problem you're struggling with. Here's what it feels like to have that problem every day. Here's all the other stuff you've tried. Here's why it didn't work. And here's what you should do instead. If you build all your messaging and all your communication around that, you're going to find that you're going to be talking to people who are ready to buy, not browsers, buyers. And that's the key to selling high ticket offers, whether people have the money to pay for it or not. By creating that urgency, by creating your offer as a must have, not a nice to have, but a must have, now you're going to have a much easier time enrolling people into your high ticket offers. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me today. If you'd like to talk to us about working together, there's a link in the description of this video. You can go to clientsondemand.com/apply. That's clientsondemand.com/apply and reach out to talk to us about potentially working together. We'd love to see if we can help you take your business to the next level. All right, I'm Russ Ruffino, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.